Just started to see my ex again. We've been talking about going back together, etc. But she told me she some other guy while we have been seeing each other lately. I said ciao and left her. Did I do the right thing? Yes. Well, no, you did the wrong thing by seeing her. Because really, you should know in your heart before you meet up with her. Like, you should do that talk, like, do that mirror talk with yourself. Like, where is this headed? Because you knew deep down you're not going to stay. Number two, right? Okay? It's none of my business. Okay? It's none of my business. Because what I know for a fact is you're an adult. Okay? There's nothing easier than knowing if you did the right thing. You just ask yourself honestly, right? Let's say she was a good person and she didn't for the other dude. Let's say she's not, right? Ask yourself honestly, did you give more to her than she gave to you? That's all you gotta ask, right? Even if she's a good person, you should ask that. You should always be asking that one question. You should be competing to see who's a better person, you or her. And well, yeah, you did the wrong thing for going back to the hoe. Because usually you can sense that too. She doesn't need to tell you. You could probably sense something's up. And I'm gonna kind of like black pill you here a little bit. 99% of modern day females are animals. They're nothing like your mother. You're so confused that they're like your mom that you think, oh, another chance, they're animals, dude. You know that stuff you see on the internet where it's like women complaining about being with a very mean person and blah, blah, blah? That's just the loud ones that want attention, correct? Most of the time. But you never hear the stories of the average Joe man, right? Just the average Joe. And the average Joe does everything for her. And he still gets skinned alive. And it's not something like, oh, it's just in her nature. It's nothing like that. In the 50s, women weren't like this at all. In the 50s, they were great people. But there's this heavy Masonic programming, and if you don't believe in that, you should look into this Balenciaga thing and see how right I am about this stuff. There's this heavy Masonic programming where women choose to be whores over having relationships, and they come at you and say, I'm choosing to be free. And you're like, bitch, what? Free from what? You chose to be in a relationship, and now you're choosing to be a whore? What? When they say, oh, I'm trying to be free, I'm trying to go out, what they're really saying to you is, I was just suppressing my whoreness when I was dating you. Right? They're like suppressing who they are. They're trying to like convince themselves that they're going to get married and all that, but really they're whores. Because what a whore is someone who tells the whole world, I'm not free dating chat. I'm not free dating chat. I dated chat for a year. I'm not free. Chat isn't letting me be a whore. Well, why are you dating chat? And when you look at it, right? When you look at it, they don't know what they want. So in the beginning, when they want a relationship, it makes sense to you. You go, oh yeah, she's not lying. But deep down, they don't know what they want because of that Masonic programming that's not effective on programming men as much. It's kind of like if a Jehovah's Witness or some dude who knocks on your door, right? A salesman, right? If a salesman knocks on your door and tries to sell you something, he's gonna have a hard time. But if he knocks on the door and your girlfriend opens the door, now he has a 50% chance of at least wasting her time, right? Like, they're very easy to be programmed. They'll listen to that shit. So after years and years of this programming, they cannot rip whole behavior out of their DNA. They can't pull it, right? And the thing is like, men are such good people, or the average guy, not like the drug dealer, not the fucking guy in prison, just the average guy, that men actually, even if they don't believe in saving a hoe, they actually extend their hand and they say, nobody wants to be a whore. I'll help you, right? Nobody's trying to be a whore, right? And it's like, yeah, here's when it'll make sense to you guys. Nobody wants to be an alcoholic, but they're an alcoholic. Nobody wants to do heroin, but they're a heroin addict. Nobody wants to be a loser, but they never get work done. Nobody wants, you know what I mean? Like, people don't want to be who they are, but they continue to do the things to be that person. So when you meet a sweet girl who's a whore, she doesn't want to be a whore. You don't want her to be a whore. Her family, her friends, nobody wants her to be a whore, but her family, her friends, everything around her in the TV will say, it's the easy path. And she will be a whore, right? And you got to ask yourself, right? You got to ask yourself deep down, is your influence strong enough to make her snap out of it? And it's not. It's never that strong, okay? It's never that strong. So stop. If you were to go to Colombia and meet a girl, everything I said, take it with a grain of salt. It's not that real. But if you're in the US, everything I said should be on the money. One in the chat. Yeah, I went to Colombia and I said, I'm going to shit on these people because everyone says they're beautiful and I'm tired of them getting that. You know, I'm so tired of them. I said, I'm so tired of them getting that, oh, we're the beautiful people thing, and everyone talks about it, and I'm like, this shit has to be cliche, but no, Colombians are the most beautiful people on earth. Like, no makeup, all that. That was impressive. And I didn't even meet any. I didn't stay with any. None of that. Just like people who served me and shit. But yeah, I think I'm going to do a trip there. And I think I'm actually going to be those guys when I'm older who goes to South America to find a wife. Because, oh my God, are people... That whole meme about going to a third world country and finding a wife is actually real. Like, they are so... There was very, like, aggressive looking women who were feminine, high ranking position women who were feminine, low ranking women who were feminine. It's just like the cultural thing to be feminine. And I'm thinking, like, you know how we'll have those podcasts with like 100 girls and we'll be like, oh, that one's the feminine one. Dude, that's a fugazi, right? Feminine is reserved for these third world countries. Like, that stuff you see in my podcast where you're like, this girl's the sweet one. No, the real sweet ones are in these countries. And, but I didn't spend any time. I just kept sleeping. I was so tired and all that. And then I flew back. But I'm going to fly back there to enjoy it with Haas, actually. And we're going to go meet people this time. Zherka, how could I sell you on polygamy? I've tried it. Like, I'm not new to it. I'm not new to it, but I just think it's against God, period, right? Male, female, child. It's not rocket science. But yeah, I've tried having like 3 girlfriends at the same time. It was 4, but one was in Toronto. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. There's like a lot less fulfillment doing that stuff. It's kind of like never really getting to know any of them. And I think the best part of dating is getting to know someone. As gay as that sounds, sometimes you dig deep in someone and then you find things that you actually have in common with them that are tiny. Like it could be just like one mini clip video game or something. And then that stuff kind of makes you think, oh wow, there's this person also had a childhood and experienced what I experienced, and then the world becomes more colorful. Yeah, no, marriage is not just a lot of work. I think it's the only work, you know, because career is easy, career is fun, career is you. Marriage is the hard part because uh, yeah, it's like you're deprogramming a woman from her Western thinking, and as you're deprogramming her, she has to constantly remind herself, I trust this guy. He's not fucking me up. Which is like, you know how scary that is for a girl, like 8 years down the road to go, oh wow, we got divorced. He fucked me up. But yeah, I think that's the only work left for adults, really, because career is the easy part, and this channel knows it. You fucking bunch of coders and nerds. Is coding a career? Is streaming a career? It's in their biology to test your manhood constantly. Yeah, that's healthy. What's unhealthy is anxiety, you know? That's unhealthy because you'll never meet a woman who don't have anxiety. You know what I mean? It's kind of sad because you grow up with your aunts and your mom and your, you know, and their anxieties are like legitimate. You know, they have like real problems. For women, it's hard because they risk a guy taking the best years of her life and then dipping. Yeah, I mean, dude, it really comes down to something that's like super attacked. Anyone who says this gets super attacked, but if God is not involved in the marriage, it will fail. And I don't mean like she just goes to church. I mean like the bitch is like knocking on wood for everything. Like she's super into that life. That kind of a woman. But I'm old fashioned, dude. You know, even my parents say I'm extreme because I believe divorce should be illegal. I don't believe that. I know it. I know it's the right thing. Go to Colombia, zombie. What's your advice for breaking the touch barrier? Yeah, I'm writing an ebook on this stuff. Quick one, but I'll give you something free. Only break touch barrier when she's laughing. So everyone does it wrong. I used to study men at the club, and I'd be like, ooh, that's so cringe. Why are you, you know? But when she can't breathe, every time she giggles, you can tap her. And that makes that process of getting her so much shorter. But a lot of guys will break touch barriers in quiet situations, which is like, dude, that's only in the movies. Don't ever fucking do that. Touch barrier is like, how do you explain touch barrier? I don't know. Like, if you don't touch your date for the first few. If you don't touch your date for the first few hours, then when you try to at the end of the night, it's super awkward, right? So you want to break that barrier immediately as soon as you see them, right? And like the way I used to do it is we'd go out for, like, say we're going to the movies, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, John," and she'd come hug me, and as she's hugged me, as soon as she gets off, I'd pat her head, and then she'd be like, "Hey, stop," and then that combo means okay. Then when you grab her hand watching the movie, it's not awkward. But if you don't do any kind of like touch intentional touches, it's awkward as fuck. You gotta be like those guys who yawn and put their arms around her and weird ass shit, right? Yeah. And also, I've never grabbed a hand. Well, but you should really do this. Open your hand, right? And then if she's got half a brain cell, she'll just put her hand on yours. And then it's got to go from hands to arm to body, like a pyramid, into the all-seeing, one-eyed snake. John, define God for me, though. Definition of God will be unity. Because anything divided, right, a divorce, anything break up, a family breaking up, is away from God, right? God will be unity. God will be purity. God would be light. God would be truth. Not lies, not deception. All knowing. But if you wanted like I know since you're kind of more nerdy, I'll say it like this. G-O-D. G is for generator, O is for operator, and D is for destroyer. So God doesn't just will the universe, he sustains it too. And also destroys. It is, I can see what you're saying about Isis, Horus, and how it's Luciferian and stuff, but really, to say God doesn't destroy is fucking retarded, right? But what you want to focus on is not the aspect of light and darkness. The true aspect is God is just light, pure, and love. And what I mean by that is those people who try and rationalize God as everything bad that happens to them is God and blah blah blah, right? They're anti-free will. They don't enter the debate sphere. Don't even talk to those people. No, since I've talked to P, that's the example he wanted. But I could just really give you the real answer. But he's not going to like this answer. God is Jesus Christ. That is the biggest name of God on earth, right? It's the only name everyone knows. Everyone on earth, 7 billion people on earth know that name. And there's a reason for that, right? It shaped society, that name, shaped consciousness, shaped everything. And it's the best, it's the most loving example of God too, sacrificial God. Because when you ask yourself what is the ultimate act of love, would be like some Goku shit, some Piccolo in front of Gohan's or Nappa's beam that's about to kill Gohan, right? Yeah. But you don't like that definition. I know who you are. So you wanted like a more, God is like sustaining the whole universe at the same time after creating it. You haven't read enough on this stuff. Trust me. Read Islam and you will see. You mean read the Quran? And I have read it, okay? And in the Quran you can have multiple wives. It's not my cup of tea, dude, because I've tried that. And that is not what God wants. no. I mean, it would be nice. Imagine 3 bitches. Hey, 3 bitches. Yeah, I read almost everything except deep into Buddhism, not really, and Hinduism, not that deep, but pretty much everything I've read. I mean, guys, you know, the end of your religious journey, you'll either choose to follow your tribe's religion, meaning where you're born, what your parents follow, which is your cultural religion, or what you feel is the truth, right? And there's very few people on earth who watch Christian nations getting destroyed and other nations being pulled up. And it kind of makes you think, you know, it's like, why are these other nations not being targeted? I mean, if they are being targeted, it's not in the same way. It's more for resources. It's not a spiritual sniper rifle at their heads. Isn't having multiple wives good in terms of... No, dude, I'm not arguing this. Bro, in the Bible, Solomon had 300 wives. Abraham had 2 wives. Yes, Solomon also used dark spirits, okay? You think I follow the Bible perfectly? I don't think I'm King Solomon, who's like the wealthiest guy ever. Yeah, sounds a little satanic. I'm not those religious cucks who go, oh, I actually prayed to my prophets too, like Solomon and Abraham, and it's just Jesus. That's it. Okay? I don't do that thing where it's like, oh, Noah and this guy and that guy. I don't do the idol worship. What about this Saint John? I don't do that. I don't do none of that. That shit's gonna get you good. That shit is a ticket to hell. Okay? I go for the Alpha, the Omega. Right? I follow the Alpha and the Omega. Christians worship a prophet. No, they don't. You fucking retarded. What do you think of Mormons? You think you have fucking Jehovah's... What are you talking about? Jehovah's Witnesses believe, some of them believe, a lot of them believe that Michael was also Jesus. Because it said Jesus' voice comes down like an archangel, and they had some like similarities. Do you admit God was an Arab/Middle Eastern man? No. To say Jesus was black, Jesus was white, Jesus was Arab is the most retarded argument. It's like, first of all, who cares, right? If you have a problem with Jesus being Albanian or black, or you're kind of missing the point. You're not really gaining from that holy book. It's the word of God, right? Is it a conclusion you came to based on everything you've seen on religion, or is it something else? The conclusion I came to is really based on who the devil is targeting the most. And the devil is not targeting the God, not even... Here. Read about Freemasonry and you'll find out who God is. Because they hate and piss and do sacrifices on altars against this God. When you find out about the ruling class and who they hate, you're going to find out it's not your God. And it's the worst feeling in the world, because it's kind of like you feel complicit almost if you're a part of any other religion, right? Even if you're a Catholic, right? If you're a Catholic, right? I love my Catholics, but if you're a Catholic, you need some Walter in your life. You need to look at the right stuff. But once you read enough Masonic literature, you find out which God they hate, and you find out that, like, here, chat. One in the chat, if the devil grants you all the material wealth on earth and all the money on earth, uh, circulates around the devil. Does anyone believe that? Yeah. Yeah. And all the money on earth circulates the Vatican, right? That uses the Protestant nations to wage war in the Middle East and blah, blah, blah. But really, what you're admitting to is that all the world's wealth is in the guys who are putting the cross upside down, right? So a lot of people take that as if it's like, oh, so it's Catholics, and no, no, no. The devil will invert God's name. Does that make sense? As in, if you believe that all the world's wealth is surrounding the devil, then you believe in Christ. You don't believe in your religion, you immediately will believe in Christ. Because you'll say, oh shit, yeah, that is all the world's wealth. But now, if you want to say, actually, there, right? That's... The cross exists in Islam too, that proves nothing. No, the point is not the cross. The what? It's the wealth, you fucking retard. How the fuck is the cross... what did I say about the cross? That it's inverted? No, the point is the wealth. Royales will be coming back Friday, I think. For a little bit, for a few weeks. John Zherka from the heart, I swear, read Islam more, you will see, please. I can't. Look at this. I've read it, okay? It's actually a lot of fun. But again, I would be going with the religion that is not being attacked by Freemasons. And I'm not going against that religion because Freemasons have destroyed, perverted this whole reality. Meaning, if I want to stand against evil, I'm going to go to where what evil's obsessed with stabbing, and I'm going to be like, okay, stab me too, motherfucker. There's a bunch of Canaanites in this chat. The seed of Cain in this chat. If you believe that the devil inverts God, right, but will use God's name to attract people and then deceive them, you're going to see that the devil sits on the Pope's throne, and you're going to come to our side. Or you're going to cope and say, well, actually, since my parents are not a part of this religion, I'm not going to join. It's like, okay, then go. I'm sure you'll just be a good person then. I'm sure you can work it out with God. Okay, I'm not here to convert people. I think that part's actually so stupid because I'm not good at that. I'm not good at converting people. You know? That's like what I'm horrible at. Most people in the West are Christians. Oh my God, this guy's so fucking stupid. Focus, man. Forget the West. Forget the West, okay? Alright? Where is all the world's money? Okay? All the world's money is in the Vatican. The devil is at the Vatican. He's not a Saudi. Do you understand? That's the point I'm making, you fucking retard. You can't say, if $10 million buys you power, imagine infinite money. That's what the Vatican holds. That's the devil. Well, not infinite, but to us it looks like it's infinite. But all the power is at the Vatican. It's not in the Saudis. It's not with the Chinese. wealthiest man in the world is a Saudi. Oh my. So are you saying that man is the devil? How are you missing the point? And that's not even true, okay? Saudis don't have money like the royal family or the Vatican. It's just, they don't, dude. There's levels to that shit, okay? Unless you're one of those people who think, oh, the British royal family doesn't actually have power, John. If you're like one of those, my dad says that. He's like, oh, they're kind of just there for tradition. I'm like, really? They didn't fund the World Economic Forum that's bringing us the fourth industrial revolution? Are you joking me? Do you not read? How come every prophet of God from the beginning of time said only worship God, but then told us to worship Jesus who went to the bathroom? Please tell me. Okay, I hear what you're saying. You're saying he's just human, right? All right, let's just go with that argument. Jesus is just human, but is a bigger name than your God. Any God. You could be from any religion and you lose. So either your God lost to a mortal, or that mortal is not like Zeus and Thor, and it's a name that's here for thousands and thousands of years, and you can't even push this name away. You can do whatever you want, but the Holy Bible is going nowhere. Like, that book is, you can try and rip it out of schools and do whatever you want to it, but it's going nowhere. That name will be here till the end of time. Meaning, and I've heard that argument before where they're like, well, John, can't the devil be as popular as Jesus? And then I ask them, okay, so you're saying Jesus is the devil? And they go, well, according to my religion, no. There was only one Jewish guy that said, okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, fine. He's burning and shit. I'm going to have him on stream. He's Haz's friend. And he's the only one who doubled down. And I'm like, oh, at least you doubled down, right? Yeah. Also, the devil's name cannot be bigger than God's. What are you talking about? The devil's name has never been bigger than God's. Are you fucking retarded? Not even close. Most people follow the devil. I wouldn't say follow the devil. Follow the devil means like you're always sinning. There's good farmers around the world. There's normal people. You shouldn't give up on God that easy, dude. But I see what you're saying. Like, in big cities, a lot of people just sin constantly. Where do you see China in the global world order? Do you think they are in the sheets with Freemasons? Yeah, a lot of Chinese people are Freemasons, but again, this is again, it'll always be Vatican, Switzerland, Israel, powerful countries, the UK. It's where most of the Freemasons that matter are. And yeah, but it is the Vatican at the top. Make no mistake about that. I've been researching for like a decade. So a lot of people think like they're gonna like try and debate this. No, dude, no, like, stop, okay? I've heard one guy try and make the argument, yeah, the Vatican has more money, but I still think this country is holding the root of all evil. Okay, but then why don't they have all the power? You fucking retarded? You're missing the USA. USA is kind of just like the lapdog of Europe. I know a lot of people here think Europe is not a thing, but read more. Right? EU is the highest GDP on earth, and which doesn't even matter, because even without the European nations, the Vatican is the richest place on earth. The Vatican is all the evil on earth, right? Remember, the Pope signs into that office, or whatever you want to call it, into that, I don't want to call it like Yeah, but when the Pope signs his name to be the Pope, he signs to be king of the world. He doesn't sign to be king of UK or king of Italy, or he signs to be king of the world. But it's actually perverted because they make him kiss the feet of other leaders, because it's really run by the Jesuits, right? The Assassin's Creed Order, which is the Black Pope and his team. And they're not even at the highest up, because above them are the sages, right? And even the word saint comes from the word sage, which are the anointed ones. And these people really tap into the third eye and really practice dark arts, black magic, sex magic, cannibalism in a lot of cases. That's more for the ruling class, but I'm talking about the top of the top. There's rituals that involve cannibalism. And these sages are grand wizards, kind of like Albert Pike, which is the best one of the Freemasons, historically speaking. But yeah, again, the gayest part about learning all this is understanding why Harry Potter is so influential, and it's not because it's a good book. It's because those gay spells they do are based on real spells that look a lot different. Like in this world, it's more like wish fulfillment, dream fulfillment, and it's scary stuff to know how powerful your will is. Like you can will things that, well, for me it makes sense. I've willed a lot into my life, but